Quick question before we start. Think about the last time you climbed a flight of stairs. Did you grab the railing and pull? Did you pause halfway up to catch your breath? Or did your knee ache a little on the way back down? If you nodded to any of those, stay with me because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly why that happens. And 3 simple exercises that can start fixing it this week. I'm also going to hand you a free bonus trick at the end that has helped hundreds of my patients walk up and down stairs without pain, even after major leg surgery. So don't skip ahead, let's get into it. Section 1, why stairs get harder, the sarcopenia problem. Here's something most people don't realize. Stairs don't get harder because you're getting old. They get harder because of a very specific, very treatable process happening inside your muscles called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is just the medical term for the natural loss of muscle mass and strength that happens as we age. It actually starts quietly in your 30s, but here's the part that matters most. After age 50, that muscle loss speeds up dramatically. Some studies suggest we can lose as much as 1 to 2% of our muscle mass every single year after that point if we don't do anything about it. And the muscles that take the biggest hit? The ones in your thighs, hips, and glutes, which, not coincidentally, are exactly the muscles you need to push your body weight up a step or control it on the way down. Now here's the good news, and I want you to really hear this. Sarcopenia is not a life sentence. It is one of the few age-related conditions we can meaningfully reverse, not just slow down, reverse, through something called progressive strength training, or PST. Think of your muscles like an old bicycle that's been sitting in the garage for years. The chain is rusty, the tires are flat, the pedals stick. If you tried to ride it right now, it would feel impossible. But that bike isn't broken. It just needs maintenance. Pump the tires, oil the chain, adjust the pedals, and suddenly it rides like new again. Progressive strength training is that tune-up for your body. It's not about lifting heavy weights at a gym or training like a bodybuilder. It's about consistently and gradually challenging your muscles just a little more than they're used to so they respond by getting stronger. In my clinic, I've watched people in their 60s and 70s go from avoiding stairs entirely to climbing them the way they did in their 40s. And it usually takes weeks, not years. So with that foundation in place, let's get into the 3 exercises. And stick around because I'll also tell you the single biggest mistake that cancels out all the benefits of these movements. Section 2, exercise 1, the slow sit to stand. Go ahead and grab a sturdy chair right now, one that won't slide on the floor. I want you to actually try this with me as I explain it, not just watch. This first exercise targets the 2 biggest, most important muscle groups for climbing stairs. Your quadriceps at the front of your thighs and your glutes in your backside. Together, these 2 muscle groups do almost all the work of pushing your body up onto a step and controlling your body as you lower down from one. The beautiful thing is we can train both of them at the same time with a single movement. Here's how to do it step by step. Sit on your chair with your feet roughly shoulder width apart. Scoot yourself forward until you're sitting near the front edge of the seat. Slide your feet back slightly so they're positioned just behind your knees rather than out in front of you. Now you have 2 options depending on your comfort level. Option 1, hold both arms out in front of you for balance. Option 2, and this is completely fine to use, press off the armrests or the seat with your hands for extra support if your balance is a concern. From here, stand up by driving through your heels and squeezing your quads and glutes together at the same time. Once you're standing tall, pause for a second. Then, reach back to find the chair or armrest if you need to, and lower yourself back down slowly and with control. That's 1 full repetition. Down, up, and controlled back down. This is called the slow sit to stand, and here's the detail that makes it so effective. Stand up with a bit of speed and power, but lower yourself down slowly, almost like you're fighting gravity the whole way. That slow, controlled lowering phase is where the real muscle building magic happens. Aim for 10 repetitions, 2 to 3 times a day. That's it. 3 short sessions woven into your day, maybe 1 after breakfast, 1 after lunch, 1 before dinner. Now, here's the mistake I see constantly in my clinic, so listen closely. People rock their body forward and use momentum to launch themselves up, almost like they're cheating their way to standing. I get it. It feels easier in the moment, but when you use momentum, your muscles barely have to work, which means you're not actually building any strength. Slow and controlled beats fast and sloppy every single time. If you take one thing from this section, let it be that. Section 3, Exercise 2, the lateral step up. We've covered the front and back of your legs. Now we need to talk about a muscle most people have never even heard of, but it might be the single most important one for preventing falls. The gluteus medius. This is a smaller hip muscle that sits on the side of your hip, and its job is to keep your pelvis level and your body stable every time you shift your weight from one leg to the other, which is exactly what happens on every single step you take, whether you're walking on flat ground or climbing a staircase. When this muscle is weak, your hips can wobble or drop with each step, which is a major hidden contributor to trips and falls. For this exercise, you'll want a small step, a sturdy stepper, or you can simply use the very bottom step of your own staircase. If you're just starting out, I recommend something around 4 inches high. For reference, a standard staircase step is usually closer to 8 inches, so we're deliberately starting easier than that. Here's the movement. Stand facing your step using a wall, counter, or railing for support if you need it. Plant one foot fully on top of the step. Press up through that leg, bringing your other leg up to meet it at the top. Step back down sideways with the trailing leg, then press back up again. 2 form cues that really matter here. First, make sure the foot on top of the step is planted firmly near the center, not too close to the edge, or you risk your foot rolling off. Second, keep your torso upright. The most common mistake I see is people leaning heavily to one side to help themselves up, which actually takes the work away from that side glute muscle and puts you off balance. Aim for 10 to 20 repetitions on each leg, and it's completely fine to lean on support while you build confidence. As this gets easier, gradually use less support and increase the height of your step, eventually working up to a standard stair height. Section 4, Exercise 3, the weighted step down. This final exercise comes from a study published in 2022 that looked specifically at highly effective ways to rebuild muscle mass and physical performance in adults over 65. What makes it stand out is how simple it is, paired with how powerful the results were. It's called the step down, and here's how you do it. Stand with both feet on top of your step or the bottom stair facing downward with a handrail nearby if you'd like the extra security. Shift your body weight slightly forward. Slowly lower one foot down to the floor, controlling the movement the entire way rather than dropping down. Gradually reverse the motion, pressing back up to return to the step. Aim for 10 to 20 repetitions on each leg. Now here's where that 2022 research gets really interesting. The study found that adding a lightweight, something like a 10 to 15 pound dumbbell held at your sides or a weighted vest, significantly amplified the muscle building effect. Why? Because this movement relies on something called eccentric strengthening, which just means your muscle is lengthening while it's still contracting and controlling the movement. Of all the ways to build muscle, this type of contraction is consistently shown to be one of the fastest and most effective, and it's exactly what your legs are doing every time you walk down a flight of stairs. One safety cue to lock in as you practice this. As you lower down, watch your knee. Don't let it collapse inward toward your other leg. Keep it tracking in line with your foot, ideally pointed toward your second or third toe. This single adjustment protects your knee joint from unnecessary strain while you build strength. You've now got the 3 exercises, but I promised you a bonus, and this one might be the most immediately useful tip in this entire video, especially for anyone recovering from a leg or back surgery. In my clinic, I see 2 mistakes constantly when patients climb stairs. Mistake number 1, they grab the railing and pull themselves up with their arms instead of their legs. Mistake number 2, they try to push their body straight upward as if standing up in place. Both of these have the same underlying problem. In each case, your body weight stays behind the step you're trying to climb, which means your leg muscles have to work far harder than necessary, and it dramatically increases your risk of losing balance and falling backward. Here's the fix, and I want you to actually picture this. As you step up, lean slightly forward from your hips, not your back, your hips. so that your body weight shifts over your toes and onto the step itself. This lets your body naturally tip forward and use gravity as a partner instead of an obstacle. Your legs still do the work, but now they're working with your body weight instead of against it. Try this the next time you're near a staircase. Take it slow, lean forward from the hips as you step, and notice how much more stable and controlled it feels. It's a small adjustment, but for a lot of my patients, it's been the difference between dreading stairs and barely noticing them. Let's bring it all together. 3 exercises done consistently is genuinely all you need. The slow sit to stand for your quads and glutes, 10 reps, 2 to 3 times a day. The lateral step up for your gluteus medius, your hip stabilizer, 10 to 20 reps per side. The weighted step down to build the eccentric strength that controls you going downstairs, 10 to 20 reps per side. And don't forget the bonus, lean forward from your hips as you climb so your weight travels over the step instead of staying behind it. None of this requires a gym membership, fancy equipment, or hours of your day. It requires about 10 minutes, a sturdy chair, and a step, and the consistency to actually stick with it. If this helped you, do me a favor and share it with someone you know who's been avoiding stairs or worried about a fall. And if you want more ways to move confidently as you age, walking techniques, balance training, and additional leg strengthening routines, make sure you're subscribed, because that's exactly what's coming next on this channel. Stay strong, keep moving, and as always, stay healthy.